Hey everybody, this is Toby Younis with the Gypsy Kiss. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to play some songs. We're going to talk. Phone lines will open up in just a minute. And let's just have a good, easygoing night. Talk about Fenn's Treasure or anything else for that matter. Anything you feel like talking about. I'm open to the conversation. And
housekeeping, you want to?
Don't forget, before you leave tonight, like this video. YouTube likes it when you like our videos, and we like it when you like our videos. Thank you for that. Share with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social network so that we can grow the channel. I don't have the Treasure Princess here to do that. And finally, if you're not already a subscriber to our channel in which we research and talk about the treasure that Forrest Fenn hid somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe, join us by subscribing and make sure you click on that notifications bell because then you'll be informed immediately upon us launching a live stream or scheduling a live stream. So that would be good too. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't need that. There we go. So I'm trying to push some of this equipment away because I have everything I need in front of me. So this is called, that last song was Cigarette Solitude by Slender Beats. I thought we're headed off in a different direction than jazz tonight. I'm going to call this pop calm, I guess is the way to describe it. Hey, Maria Davis in the Facebook room. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. And Cliff Martin in Facebook. Thanks for joining us. Let's see what we play. Let's play a little Blue Moon by JVNA. So someone commented in one of my previous programs, one of the previous Toby 10s, that I always look like I'm mad. So I'm not. I think it's because I have that Native American trait where my mouth turns down at the corner, so it makes it look like I'm angry. I have nothing to be angry about. I'm retired. I had a great life, raised some children, had some good times. So I literally have nothing to be angry about. Don't forget, if you want to reach out to me, the best way to do it is to send a text message to 202-815-1171. The phone lines will open up in a little while. If you plan to do it in the chat room, at least highlight it with Pocatello. So you know who this is? This is our friend. Hey, brother. You should be in bed by now, don't you think? Oops, hang on. Hey, buddy. Hello.
Hey, Toby, this is Tony here.
I know, Tony. I recognize your number.
Do you want to talk to me about fishing?
Well, I do want to talk about fishing, but I think I had a couple of questions about how you fish for steelhead and what you do with them afterwards, and I think you gave me a whole bunch of information. I got to put it all together because I'd love to go over there. I've never fished for fish larger than trout. Now, some of them were 24, 25-inch brown trout, but I've never fished that. I've always wanted to fish a stream that had either a salmon or steelhead in it. So what I'd like to do is figure out when I'm going to be up in that direction the next time, and maybe we can get together and you can take me fishing. How's the at what point does the water settle down enough that you can actually go fishing?
Well, usually it's like it'll freeze in November, December.
Yeah.
You never know.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it'll run free all winter long.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
go up there and fish till it freezes over.
Yeah. Well, like I said, maybe you can send me a text message when the freeze the freeze is gone and the runoff ends, and when it's a good time to go fish for either salmon or steelhead, and I'll go up in that direction. I have no problems with that.
That'd be the way to go. Yeah.
I mean, what airport would I fly into?
You could fly into Idaho Falls.
Uh-huh.
There is an airport in Salmon, but I mean, it'd be the cheapest to go to Idaho Falls, I'm sure.
Okay.
You could get like I already know you like the bed and breakfast or so, you know.
Yeah. I tend to look for the places that are more comfortable and, you know.
Yeah.
Albuquerque. So you were saying Idaho Falls?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Fly into Idaho Falls.
Let me see what the rates are there.
You hook you up with an RV or something. I mean, if you want.
No, I'm more comfortable driving back to a hotel in the evening.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me see what the rates are for that time. So if I fly out the 3rd and stay through the 9th, that would be, let's see how much that would cost.
It'd be like, oh gosh. I mean, if you wanted to go in the springtime, it might be.
I'm thinking about May. So it's around, including flights, it's around $1,200 for the week. That's affordable. That's flights, hotel, and car.
I would say it ends in April.
April?
Yeah, the season ends in April.
But is the water too high in April? Is there a runoff?
Yeah, but that's when the fish are running up the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me do flight. Oh, ow. Dang nabbit. And we'll do flight, hotel, and car. You say April?
It is in...
like the end of April? Middle April? When?
Chalice, you could stay at a motel. I mean,
So at what week in April are you're thinking? Like the last week, the 3rd week, the middle week? When in April?
Yeah, there's no telling. I can't tell you.
When does the season end?
The end of April.
Okay, let me just do that then. So hold on just a sec. I'll just do the 23rd to the 30th and see.
I would say the middle of April to the early part of April. I could hook you up in a run, and you could throw one of them flies I sent you and catch a fish.
Yeah,
and then you can put it in your picture. You know, the fly, the fish.
So middle of April, Idaho Falls, $1,164. And that's car, hotel, and flight. So that's not bad. That's for a week. I did 7 days.
Well, you aren't staying in Idaho Falls, though. I mean,
where are you staying?
I'm over in Ellis. At that point, I'm on the other end of the run.
Okay, hold on. Let me just. So Ellis, Idaho.
Yeah, and the closest town is Chalice.
Spell it.
But if you showed up here on the middle of April and Holly over and you want to go to Chalice or you rent a car or whatever, yeah.
Hang on a sec. So I put in Chalice, Idaho. That's an interesting way to spell Chalice. I would have never guessed that.
There's bed and breakfast over there. Let's
Let's see what we got. So there's the Village Inn Motel and the Northgate Inn Motel, both in Chalice. Oh, you know what? Those two locations are sold out at that time, so everybody else is going up there for that run. That's interesting.
Well, you could
I
stay
can
with
find a
me.
place. I can find a
It'd be
place.
fine with you staying with me, but
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be no. Yeah,
yeah.
what you're wanting.
So I can find a Airbnb or something like that. But let me see. So yeah, it's around. Oh, I lost you again. Dadgummit. Oh no, that's somebody calling in. So it's around $1,200 for 7 days. I may take you up on that.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, I could hook you up with some fish over there at that time of year.
Well, what's interesting, of course, is figuring out how to get them back. You might have to ship them back to me, block them up, and ship them back. But we'll figure that out when we get there.
Yeah, you could bring them back here. I could next day air them or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Well, let's keep talking about it. I'd be interested. So, what size fly rod would I need? What size fly rod and what size fly kit? Number 8, number 10. What? This sounds like a big thing to me. So,
Just bring what you got.
well, what I got is a 7.5 foot rod and a number 5.
You'll have
Number
fun.
5.
You'll have fun. They'll break it or you'll bring them in.
Nice.
No.
Thank you. That's something to look forward to. A broken rod.
No, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, these boys up here use spay rods. They're like 10, 12 inch or
Feet.
12 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll do some research. I wouldn't mind buying one for the trip. So.
But yeah, they'll just stand out there and then they'll hold them.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, they aren't really flipping them. They're just holding them right in the run.
Yeah. Interesting.
Just waiting for them to grab them.
So-
and then,
So they sooner or later they go after that streamer, huh?
yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds
Good.
like fun. I'm going to take you up on that offer and get up there at least for that. I've always wanted to catch a salmon or a steelhead. Never have, and would really like that.
Yeah. the
Hell,
way
I don't
do
even
it-
need the fish. I just need the picture.
Yeah, you need the fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like stand. Yeah. you gotta-
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll show you the ropes. I'll put you in the run.
All right. That'll be fun.
You'll enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm already looking forward to it. I'm going to
Yeah.
start making plans.
All righty then.
So we're thinking about mid-April, right? Mid to end of April.
Yeah, that's when they're right there
Yeah.
at the Ellis hatcheries where. Yeah, that's where.
What other town is close? Chalice is booked at that time. Are there any towns that are closer? Or
you can go all the way up to Stanley if you want.
okay,
I mean,
hang on just a sec. Let me put that in there.
salmon is close.
Yeah, salmon, just like the fish.
Yeah,
Okay,
town of salmon.
hang on. Let me put it in and see what they say. So that would be say right there.
I'm sure you could get a motel there in Salmon. It's only like 50 miles away.
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying
don't mind
that.
driving. I mean, I have to drive at least an hour and a half to my closest fishing spot from here. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things in salmon. Super 8, it's a little more expensive. It's around $1,400 for the 7 days, but including flight, hotel, and car.
If you fly into Idaho Falls,
Right.
I'll see if there's some place that'll be right.
Well, I haven't even looked at the Airbnbs. I'm sure I can look up an Airbnb. Stagecoach Inn in Salmon is already sold out, so I'm not the only one heading up there for that salmon run.
Yeah.
These places
that's
are all
the
sold out.
When it hit.
So let me look around, see what I can find, and then I'll send you an email.
That'll be great.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
And I can bring those streamers that you sent me with me, and I'll be okay. Did I lose you? Oh, I don't know how they're. You still there, Tony?
Oh.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah.
So I can bring
those.
those streamers that you sent me up there.
Yeah, if you want to catch one and then take a picture of it,
Yeah,
put the fly in a case, and then show the fly
Yeah, exactly. Show
And
the
the
fly with the
picture.
picture. Yeah, that's all I need.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, thanks for calling back, and I'm gonna make some plans for that time.
All righty.
All right, sir.
Yep.
You have a
See
good
you,
evening.
guys.
Bye bye. That's cool. Huh? How cool is that? Get invited to go salmon fishing. Did I finish my Blue Moon? This is called Back in the City by the 126ers. That's the name of the group. Hey, WFG, I did see your video. Shelley and I watched it together. It was very well done. Very well done. Hey, Prince Edward Island, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Yourself, sir?
I am staying out of trouble.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to keep my excitement down for figuring out a few things.
Yeah.
I know you can do Google Maps, maybe a compass, and the poem.
Yeah.
I don't even have the book.
You know what? The more I spend time with this, the more I agree with you. I think it's in the poem and in the book.
Yeah, I think with a good map,
I'm sorry,
good compass.
Yeah. I'm not even sure you need
Yeah,
a compass.
with a good compass and a good map. I mean, a really good map, like terrain map, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the poem, you can do it.
yeah.
Now, I have one other small suggestion.
Okay, go
with
ahead.
Google Map.
Go ahead.
Okay. You know how you can zoom out I make my Google Map for my travel map 3D,
Yeah,
and I use not the satellite, but I use
The, terrain.
the road surface, so
Yeah.
you get all the pictures.
yeah.
No terrain.
Oh, okay.
This is a trick that Google has done. You know how the Google is taking pictures for every single road?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. When you pull the thing out, so it looks like just the 4 states, you can fit the 4 states in on that map.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, you click the little man, a boy, or whatever you want to call it.
The little goober.
Everything goes blue.
We call him a goober.
Okay. Well, you click him,
Yeah.
and what it'll do is
So-
it'll show you up.
Okay, do me a favor. So I'm gonna switch over to the screenshot so we can share this with the folks. What I need you to do for the moment,
sure.
just tell me generally what area are we talking about, roughly. Don't give me your exact search.
Oh,
one.
you bring up the whole Rockies. So you zoom out that far.
Oh, the whole Rockies, huh? Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Okay, there's New Mexico, and there's Wyoming, and There's Montana. Okay, so I'm going to bring out the whole Rockies. Okay, so I'm going to share this with the guys in the room. Going to do a screenshot there. Okay,
Sure,
now,
not a
so
problem.
so I've got the whole Rockies, and I'm in terrain mode, not satellite mode. What do I do now?
No, you want to be in street mode.
I don't think I have that option, do I? Street
Yeah,
mode?
it should be.
Street mode. Yeah, I think that. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am in street mode. Excuse me.
Okay, perfect.
Now what?
Now, okay, you're zoomed out to see all of it?
Yeah, I can. I'm
should be able
I'm
to
looking
click that.
all the way from Santa Fe to Kootenai National Forest in Montana. Is that Montana?
No, well, click the little guy, see what happens.
Okay, the little guy, the little yellow goober.
Yeah, just click him.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay, I have clicked him.
And it should go on all blue.
Well, not all blue, but it's pretty seriously blue. It's a lot of it covered in blue.
Yeah, well.
So
guess
are those the roads that Google has mapped or taken pictures of?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, the street view.
And anyone that has shared a picture, even out in the field,
Yeah.
has made the map blue.
Oh, interesting.
So Dan said within 500 feet
Yeah.
of the public, then that wipes out your search area. So if you do that out even further, it makes the search areas even smaller looking.
Okay. So what
Go
you're
like up to 5,000 feet or more.
yeah. No, I'm not. I'm further than that right now. I'm in space at this point.
Okay, well, anyways, I have a picture where everything's so blue, all you can see is a few specks of green.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you gotta go Google Earth at that point. But I get your point. So
No, it doesn't work on Google Earth.
no, I'm saying it. If I'm zoomed out so far, I just get the round Earth picture, right? Not Google
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah.
but-
Very close.
Okay. So where am I looking in general?
Well, no, I'm
Oh.
just saying it eliminates a whole lack of areas,
I
and
see
then all
what
the
you're
little
saying.
bits of green in behind that are national parks.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, well, right there. Whoa, right there. That gives you an idea because then you can eliminate states because there's certain states you would have to make up a paper cutout to place over
Yeah.
just so you have the Rockies.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying. So this should be interesting. Let me get at least. So I'm
Yeah,
going to go
it's
just for
similar
the
to
heck of it.
your-
I'm going to zoom in on Yellowstone just for the heck of it. Okay. Just because. Oh, well, let me look at that area that had an interest for me.
Oh, Yellowstone's not a thing. It's pretty open.
Yeah. So here's the area I was interested in. So let's drag our little buddy up there. Put him right there. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
all those little circles are places
Look
where
at
people
that.
are taking pictures.
Yeah. Damned interesting that. So I may not even have to do the, how do I get back to the regular?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just close
was
it
great.
off.
Okay. So you are sharing a tip with us tonight, sounds like.
Yes, a hint.
Yeah, very
A
nice.
hint how to kind of get within the 500 range that everyone is in,
Yeah.
regardless.
I see what you're saying. So because you would agree with me that the 500-foot people that he referred to are actually on a public thoroughfare of some kind. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they're on public thoroughfares. Now,
Yeah.
the other part that you have to do, then the next part of the research is everyone has property lines. So the back of that fence of his property line is still, as far as I'm concerned, still an additional 500 feet in.
Yeah, yeah. Very interesting. Okay, well, you know what I'll do is I've got to publish a couple of videos here in the next couple of weeks anyway, so I'll follow up on this and use it in my videos, kind of,
Yeah.
so people can have it. Thanks for sharing. That was very thoughtful.
And the other reason I really called was that was a theoretical solve, like map
Yeah, exactly.
is what I'm interested in
Right.
trying to do with you.
Yeah,
Now, the poem reads to me like here on PEI when an old guy gives you directions to the mall. Some of the places don't exist or they're just landmarks.
right.
That's what the poem sounds like to me.
I agree with you. I agree with you that every one of the metaphors, the 9 clues in the poem represent a physical object of some kind. Would you agree with that? A physical location.
Yeah,
Like if I were to tell you, turn right at the corner where there's a barber shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd be looking for that spiraling barber thing. I don't know what they call them. What do they call that? Barber. There's got to be a name for that. Sassy, what do they call that spiral?
Barber pole?
Barber pole. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that used to be a doctor and barber thing. That's why it's red and white.
It used to be a what?
You used to be a doctor and a barber.
So doctors.
That's why it's red and white.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Huh. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I sound like the Johnny.
Yeah. Well, see, Finn's he's even more of similar to what I'm like in country all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like the area I live in. Oh, and sand, I can get you various different colors of sand, but
no. I don't want colors of sand. I want natural sand. I want sand.
No, this is natural sand.
Oh, okay, like from a riverbed, something like that.
Well, no, it'll be out of the ocean.
Oh, even better. Yeah, even better. And not from the water, just from the shore, right where the water and the shore meets.
Yeah.
That's the sand.
Yeah, dried sand.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be dry. Just put it in a bag. I'll take care of drying it. Yeah. Just send it to that address that's in our description box. The Enchanted Hills Boulevard address.
Can I just give you a Gmail, like in a text message, and you can send me the address and everything?
No. Just here. If you look, hang on. So all our videos have our address in the description box below the video. Hang on. Okay, hold on. Let me just show you one here. Let's see. What have I got? I'll use one of the. Oh, no, that's not live. Creator Studio. I hate you. I hate you. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to switch over to the screen again so you can see it. Okay, hold on just a sec. Okay, so if you go to any of our videos, including this one, and you scroll down just under the video, and you'll see a Gypsy's Kiss, and then there's a little thing that says Show More, right? That's the description box. And you click on Show More, and you scroll down, and there's all the ways you can contact us, one of which is our...
Okay, it says right there. I see it. Big right. E, mail, and your address.
Exactly. Perfect. So that's where you can send it. Anybody who wants to send us sand, you can send it to that address. Little plastic bag in an envelope, in a padded envelope. Perfect. I'll worry about sampling it and taking it from there.
Yeah, and I'm going to send you a photograph that's you.
Right, and then you can email me or text me a photograph of the location where you got the sand, so I can get the GPS data from it.
Now, there's one place it's going to be called Tea Hill.
Oh. And
tea?
Tea?
Like the tea that you drink?
Yeah.
Hill.
Tea Hill. Okay. Well, send it and then make sure
it'll be red.
Take a picture. I'd love to see it. Because I think I want to build up what's the word for a warehouse, a small warehouse, not a warehouse, a file cabinet, something. I'm trying to figure out the word that I'm going to describe, full of this sand before I launch the channel.
So each week I'll give a little more of a hint on how I'm coming up with these solves.
Oh, that's great. That's a good idea. We love that. Oh, I got to go back to my full screen.
Because Finn's read a lot of books in his life.
Yeah.
And he knows the reason why certain things are called certain things. I mean, geographically
speaking. Yeah. Yes.
And the only other thing that I think, but it's more of a rabbit hole, I think he might have planted a species at at where he buried that's not supposed to belong there.
Oh, that's interesting. That's not very environmental.
Well, no, the species in other areas of the state, but probably not at that spot.
Oh,
it's
I see.
at a place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
It'll be the only thing. It'll be the only species like that throughout that whole area. You're not going to see, but it'll be one single one.
Yeah.
Or depending on how much time goes by, because when you do that, you know, eventually it'll start spreading out, right?
Right. Yes. That's why I said it's not necessarily environmentally healthy.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But brown trout wasn't there either.
No.
That's the Chicago connection.
Yeah, brown trout are thought of as very aggressive fish, and everybody's hesitant. They're not as bad as lake trout, but brown trout are very aggressive.
Yeah, well, brown trout was introduced from Chicago,
Yeah.
from Germany.
From Germany through Chicago, that's right.
Right. So when he did that 300 miles from whatever it was called, that T-town,
Yeah,
that river runs right beside that place
yeah,
for where they first introduced the brown trout.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for the hint.
That's old hash news that's over
Right.
9 years old that we hashed out
A long time ago.
ago.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the map hint. I'll make a short video on that so that we can share that with our friends.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing is the map solve would be nice when you're thinking about doing that thing, the theoretical one. It'd be kind of a payback for what I'm helping out with.
All right. Well, I'll make sure that you get credit for it. How's that?
No, I mean the theoretical one that I was talking about on the thing. You said you're going to do it. What you think a perfect theoretical?
Oh yeah. Oh no.
solve is.
I you know what? That's the other thing I'm going to make a video about.
Yeah, no. I just figured I would like a post for that.
Okay.
Like, you know,
all right.
after you get my email
Yeah.
type of thing, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Let these other players play here on the phone too.
Okay. All right, sir.
I'm down to my last coffee for the night. I'm going to say good night, sir.
All right. Good night, sir. It's been nice talking to you.
Yeah. Anyways, on the phone. Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, so let me go back to the question that Tony was asking. Hold on. No, you know, Sassy, I'm looking like for a catalog of sand, a not amalgamation, just like a stored container of sand that are correctly cataloged, right? So maybe just a catalog. Maybe the correct thing is catalog. So let me go back to Jack, who said, how do you get past the copyright infringement for YouTube? I use YouTube authorized music. I'll show you right here where you can find it. So this is the YouTube audio library. You get there by going to your YouTube channel and clicking on Create. It opens up the audio library, and it's free music that people have put on YouTube to make it available for you. You select the genre, the type. I always use attribution not required. You can play it, but attribution is required, and I always actually give attribution. So I always pick attribution not required, and it gives me all of this music, and it's free to play on YouTube. How cool is that? So it's not a copyright issue. This is copyright-free music as approved by YouTube. Sneaky, huh? Pretty sneaky. So hi, Linda Real Hughes in the Facebook page. I can see you. Yeah, Sassy, I'm just thinking like a catalog. You know, that's probably, I can't think of anything else. But I'm serious about it because I saw the Verge science video on how we're running out of sand. And I think I told you guys that in the Arab states, in the states in the Mideast, that they're doing a lot of construction. They're investing a lot of their oil money in construction. They actually have to import sand because the sand that is on the ground there in the desert is too fine. It doesn't work with concrete. So they actually have to import sand. So they're going to third world countries and buying the sand from them, shipping it back literally across the ocean in order to make concrete to build those buildings. So I don't know how whether or not you guys, I keep I keep an eye on the Mideast developments, so I'm always watching them. And they have done a whole bunch of construction over the past, I'm going to say 15 years now. You can go to almost any place and see all the construction that goes on. But they have to import the sand. Weird, huh? So Sassy was coming over with, I think she was, Juno, she was trying to just help out. So, and I appreciate that. So that was a fun call. Phone lines are open. You know what I should do? Somebody called from Fife, Washington. So Fife, I hope you're still up. I'm going to call this guy from, this person from Fife, Washington, see what they wanted. With my luck, it'll be a crank call.
This is Denise. Please leave a message. I'll call you back.
Hey, Denise, it's Toby Younis with the Gypsy Kiss. I was returning your call. So call us back once the phone lines open. The phone lines are open, so give us a call. Thanks. Bye-bye. That was Denise. Denise, let's play some more music from the audio library that YouTube provides for us. What did we play last? Did we play Back in the City? Yeah, the 126ers. This one is Let's Go Home by Jeremy Blake. Hey, you guys, don't call me. I ran out of water. I'm going to go grab some water while this song is playing, okay? Hey, Juno, don't blame it on the moderators because sometimes it's just YouTube. If you use a link or one of the words that they don't happy with, they will block it. So sometimes the moderators don't have anything to do with it. As a matter of fact, when YouTube does that to you, it's only the moderators that can correct it. So it's just the opposite of what you imagine it to be. So, hey, what did you guys think about that guy's, the other night, Juan from, I think he said he was from Florida, his theory that 23 Monarcha is actually Forrest Fenn? Comment. So, Karen, I just got your message. Yes, I was going to do it tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to do it today. I was just because we have to plan for our shows in the afternoon. So I'll do it tomorrow. You should have it early in the weekend. All right? So, Juno, like I said, if it is happening to you a lot, you're doing something that doesn't make YouTube happy. Like I said, the moderators are good about keeping people from saying things, but generally speaking, they spend more time unmoderating something that YouTube has picked on. So maybe that's an indication that you shouldn't challenge the YouTube gods. That was a cool song. I like that kind of new modern pop where they sample and it's a lot of electronic. There's a couple of YouTube channels where they show yeah, Cheryl, it was kind of Crazy Birds, right? Yeah. I wish I don't know who it was, but I thought it was interesting, and the whole concept of 23 Monarcha. Don't get me wrong, I love and respect 23 Monarcha, but I just don't think it's Forrest Fenn. So this one is called Los Angeles, and it's by Ginkas. Let's take this call first from Madison. Hey, you've reached Toby at 10. What's your name, and what do you think about the Fenn Treasure?
Hey, Toby.
Hi there.
Your old buddy from Madison, Indiana, Mike here.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I recognize the number, Mike. Hi there.
You take requests?
You know what? I don't, only because I am limited to I'm going to use the word catalog again. I'm limited to a catalog that's in the YouTube audio library. And
Okay,
I don't know whether you want. I mentioned it earlier. One of our viewers said, how do you keep from getting copyright complaints? And the way I keep from getting copyright complaints is I use the music in the YouTube audio library, and it, generally speaking, is new music or music produced by new music makers, et cetera, and you don't find anything in there that is out in the public domain in a copyrighted form. So,
okay. I was going to ask for some Leonard Skinner. Yeah,
I could, and I would love to play it. Might even do some. Who's that? Freebird, right?
Yeah. Play some Freebird.
But unfortunately, that's copyrighted material, and I couldn't play it without their permission or having paid them in advance. And I showed everybody here. I'll show it to you again. So what I'm using.
Oh, I saw it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hang on just a sec. Let me see something.
I sense you have a nefarious plan with your sand.
I'm actually going to start a new channel.
Sand channel?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be called the Sand Channel, but what I'm going to do is I've got a collection of microscopic devices, digital microscopes, stereo microscopes, compound microscopes, portable digital microscopes, et cetera, and I've always been, and I have a whole macro photography kit, and I've always been fascinated by macro and micro photography, and I wanted to take up this cause about the fact that we're running out of sand. I know it sounds like a silly cause, but I want to have people send me sand, and then I want to put it under a microscope, and I want to play that on the screen so that you guys can see it. And I have some really powerful microscopes. I mean, I have not only powerful microscopes with great glass, but I also have, 40, 50 megapixel microscope cameras that put a good image on the screen, a very high resolution image on the screen, up to 4K. And so what I want to do is share that imagery, because if anybody's ever looked at sand under a microscope, especially if it comes from the seashore, it's really amazing. The stuff that comes just from a river looks like it's filled with miniature emeralds and rubies and diamonds and things.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stuff that comes from the ocean, from the seashore, is filled not only with these small, pieces of clear sand, green, various colors, but they also contain sand-size diatoms, objects like seashells and things like that. And the seashells are spiral shells like you'd see in a conch or something like that, but they're the size of a grain of sand, and they're just amazing. And it's just beautiful. And so what I want to do is create a channel where people from all over the world can send me sand with information about it. And then I want to play a live stream of that sand. Some places, I've already received some from some friends in Europe that live in Spain, and they were down along the Andalusian coast, and they sent me some from there. So Sassy mentioned that her son, who happens to be a Marine, sent her some sand from Iwo Jima, that black volcanic sand. Hawaii, you can go any place in Hawaii and get various kinds of sand, all along the California coast especially. Anyway, what I want to do is collect all the sand from all over and make a channel where we can share it with the world. The imagery, the microscopic imagery associated with that, and promote the idea that we need to look for alternatives. Because right now the alternative is manufacturing sand. They take larger, they take gravel, and they beat it to death basically until it turns into sand, and then they use that for concrete mixing. So we're out of the sand scale now, and we're getting to progressively larger natural rocks in order to make the sand. You can actually tell the difference. I'm hoping to get some sand. I'm going out next week on Monday. I'm going out to one of the gravel companies here because they said they could provide me a bag full of man-made sand. And you can, under a microscope, you can actually tell the difference. So, wow. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I have a passion for macroscopy or macro photography and microscopy and microscopic photography. And I have, thousands of dollars worth of equipment that I'd like to put to good use. And if it means making another channel, then I will. So that's kind of the idea. I don't even know if it'll have any interest, but I think if I could tell someone in Europe, if you send me some sand from the Andalusian shore or from Normandy, can you imagine? Send me some sand from the Normandy beachhead, and then you could make a little show about that, and you can say, here's the sand that you sent me under a microscope. And again, because of the equipment I have, I can actually switch from my screen to the screen with a sand on it so that you can share it. So. Just one of my crazy ideas. I don't know if
I just thought maybe you're going to start like hoarding sand.
Yeah, no.
And become a sand baron.
Like a sand.
Because first you get the sand.
Yeah.
Then you get the money.
Right.
Then you get the women.
Yeah, this is one of those things that if you walked into a bar and there was a beautiful sitting at the bar, and she says, "What do you do?" And I say, "I have a YouTube channel," and they'll turn and look and say, "Oh, how exciting! What kind of channel is it?" And I say to her, "We talk about sand." That's going to be the end of that conversation right there. I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to get a chance to buy a drink at that point. Yeah.
And also, I saw a documentary. Guys were up on rooftops, I think in New York.
Right, in meteorites.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Miniature meteorites.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's the same. That's the Verge Science. That's the same set of guys that did the missing sand. Let me see if I can find them. I don't know if this is copyright infringement, but let me take a look. YouTube. And it's
I just had a flashback of the Homer Simpson sugar episode. I don't know if you've watched The Simpsons at all.
Well, Shelley, she doesn't make fun of me, but she thinks it's funny that what I'll do is I'll find something in the house, and she brought me. I'm always looking for ways to make things sweeter without, raising my blood sugars. And she brought me something called Xyla. So I take a microscopic picture of it and I put it on my Instagram page. It actually looks like diamonds. So here's the video. Let me see if I can do this without it playing, because then I'll just get in trouble. Hang on. Screenshot. So if you do sand microscope, this is the one. Humans are using more sand than the Earth naturally produces, and that's a problem for the global construction industry. And that's done by Verge Science. They're a big channel. They have 860,000 subscribers. And then there's this guy who got sand and put it under a microscope and started discovering that the seashore has all these really interesting objects. You can see it's not just a rock. There's actually, they're not Mennonites, or not Mennonites, Ammonites. But they do have shell-like shapes in miniature. So there's several channels where they cover this. Sand under the microscope, 4K, et cetera, et cetera. Now, my microscopes, actually, a couple of mine have more resolution than that. So, but I think it's, I don't know. I have no idea. It's just another way to take one of my hobbies and turn it into a YouTube channel, like the restoration of the toy cars that we talked about earlier tonight.
Yeah. Interesting. I just thought you were just gonna start hoarding sand. I saw you.
No, well, I'm going to hoard it at, a couple of ounces at a time if I am. But I imagine some place where I've actually, cataloged and stored, thousands of little bags of sand from all over the world. I mean, the guy that called earlier tonight from Prince Edward Island, he's going to get me something from, I think he said T Hill, the area, and he said the sand is red. So you have to wonder, where does that come from and what's in it? And if you look at the pictures that they have, like I said, if you look at that one thing, the sand actually contains all these miniature gems, basically.
Right.
You can go, especially in the Rocky Mountains and especially in the mountains in California, you can actually look at it and you can see tiny minerals, tiny rubies and emeralds, etc. Now, you could never do anything with them, but they're in the sand. Those little gems are in the sand.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I watched another show. Guy was buying sand, I guess concrete, from Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah, and then he was
taking it out in the backyard and putting it in a
sluice.
Yeah, and he was getting gold out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not a great amount. But.
Right. Well, what's funny is you can ask where the sand that you're buying at Lowe's or Home Depot comes from, and if it comes from any place, in the down below the California mountains, there may be gold in there. Now, it's really amazing how much you'd have to do to get it, but you're not paying it because you probably know you can go onto eBay or Amazon and you can actually buy pound bags of dirt from gold mines. And they tell you you'll find gold, you'll find gold flakes in that sand. But that's interesting that he just went to Lowe's, bought a bag of sand and sluiced it.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Wait a minute. You know what? Somebody earlier asked me if I wanted the cons. And cons is a term that's used by people who are sluicing the it's short for cons. It's short for something. So whoever asked that question, ask me again. I don't want the cons. I want the sand, and I want the finest sand that you can pull up from the water. You know, whether it's a river or creek or stream. I want the sand that's on the bottom of that, not the silt, but the sand. It's closer.
Right.
The sand always tends. The water forces it towards the shore. So.
Well, I might be able to procure some Ohio River water sand.
There you go. See? And you know, there are places on the Ohio River, I have seen them myself, where they call it a sandbar, right?
Oh, yeah. Here in Madison, there was, I think they say the average depth of the water before, like, they would dredge it all out for the barge.
Yeah.
Was like about 8 to 9 feet. And there was an area here just east of town that back in the good old days, you could actually walk across the Ohio River over to Kentucky. And that was back during the Underground Railroad days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
our friends in the room are starting to give me suggestions for the name of the channel. So I haven't, like I said, concentrates. Bob Art, that's right. Cons are concentrates, and that's the various size layers that you that are derived when you're sluicing sand for gold. So, thank you. My knowledge of panning for gold comes from Gold Rush. You know. That's
these guys just sat in their backyard panning out the sand.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, they didn't get a lot. But, you know, you watch these guys sit on a riverbank, and they just flake. You know.
Well, you can. There are a couple of places in New Mexico, the Red River being one of them, that you can still get gold out of that river. You can still get flakes of gold out of that river if you have the patience for it. Now, you're going to spend more hours doing it than the value of the gold that you get out of it. But you can say, I have a little tiny bottle with about, I don't know, I'm going to guess somewhere between 10 and 20 gold flakes that came out of my panning the Red River here in New Mexico. So,
Indiana, up north of me, up in Brown County, there's a creek.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of it now. A lot of people go panning for gold up in there and successful.
Yeah.
I think it's been kind of, diminished as popular.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I was surprised that there was gold in Indiana.
Right.
But we're like glacier activity. I live down in the Ohio River Valley. We have hills on both sides of us over in Kentucky, and most of Madison. That's not a historic district. The entire downtown of Madison, Indiana, is historic.
Right.
So have to drive up a hill, get to the hilltop. But I guess all that glacier activity, pushes this stuff to us, and people are finding gold in the weirdest places.
Yeah,
Silver
the glacial effect, the effect of glaciers on the northern part of the United States has a lot to do with the areas in which you can find gold. So
yeah. Well, okay. I'll tell you what, man. I'll let you go. You have a great night. I was one who asked you about Skinner and
I'm limited.
I was calling a late night radio station.
Yeah,
it's
I am.
1 a.m. here now.
I'm limited to whatever YouTube lets me have.
Yeah. Well, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. That's the way I see it. You don't have to listen to me talking.
All right, then, man. You have a good night.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right. You have a good one.
Bye-bye. So let's see. Did we get... So, okay, Karen just says, okie dokie. Did we get through Los Angeles? This is interesting. The title of this is That Night in Your Car, and it's by someone named Spaz Cardigan. Well, I won't even start that. Las Cruces, New Mexico. Hey, they're practically... Hey, this is Toby at 10. What's your name, and what do you want to talk about?
Hey, Toby, this is William.
Hey, William, how are you doing?
Good, good. I wanted to talk about my idea for where warm water salt and see if it helps anybody with their salt. If that's cool with you, and
That's
I think
cool
it's
with me.
probably going to align with your thoughts.
I will sit back and listen. Go ahead.
Okay, let me switch to speakerphone
All right.
so I can read you the exact one I found. Now, I emailed this to you. So your idea is that where warm water salt most likely, I don't know if you still believe that, but that it has to do with the fishing regulations, correct?
So part of this Montana salt, generally speaking, if we're talking about New Mexico, yes.
Right. So my idea for where warm water salt I got from the fishing regulations. So it defines trout waters and warm waters, that they're different.
Yeah.
But the specific one that it says in here in Santa Fe is, so it says north on US 285-84 to its intersection with NM 502, thence west on NM 502 to the west bank.
Right.
So out of all the ones that are listed in that same paragraph, out of all the ones that are listed in that same paragraph, that's the only one that's actually in a canyon. And from what I can see, go ahead.
So what you're describing, so that part of the regulations doesn't actually describe the location of warm waters versus trout waters. It describes the boundaries as represented on this map. I'm going to pull the map up for you so you can see it.
Right.
What that thing is doing is, let me see. Where did I put that?
Right. So the following are designated as trout waters, and anything not within that is a
warm water.
Right.
Yeah. So the fishing regulations say, so what it's describing, what that area is describing is kind of the northern part right here of the fishing waters in New Mexico. Right.
Let me switch to YouTube so I can see what you're talking about. Sorry, okay. I'm doing all this on my phone.
No worries. So there is, and let me show you one other thing, and I'm going to have to look it up here first. Okay. Hang on. New Mexico fishing regulations. And there's the PDF. Hang on. And there's the fishing regulations. So this is the current year's version of the fishing regulations. And every year in the New Mexico, I'm going to show it to you, or you're not there, you're probably looking at the map. So what I'm bringing up is the PDF that represents the New Mexico fishing regulations right there. Okay. And every year in the NM fishing regulations, literally in the center stapled part is the New Mexico fishing map. And I'm going to scroll down to it. There, right there. And it's always in that chain. So what you're reading right there is, see this area that goes right here from Aztec all the way down to Bernalillo, then to Santa Fe and back around. That's the area that it's describing. And what it basically says is that, and there's two other locations, one in the south around Ruidoso and one in the south west around the Gila. But everything else that's in the white, and that's what that description says to you, everything else that's in the white are warm waters.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So you see right above Santa Fe.
Yes.
If you look right above Santa Fe, it kind of comes to like a triangle, and then there's a straight line that goes across it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That straight line is that Highway 2 that it's referring to in that.
In that part of the regulations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So basically the Rio Grande right there, if you're on the west bank, is cold waters. If you're on the east bank, it's warm waters. But that bridge that's right there, that bridge is what actually, if you go north of that bridge, it's cold waters. South of that bridge, warm waters.
Oh, that's interesting.
So in that for the way my solve works on that, that's the starting point of where warm water's halt.
Right. I can't make this particular map any bigger because it's a PDF file. Let me see if I can
Sure.
do something. So the other thing too is, let me see if I can rotate it. There we go.
What's cool about that, so if you're good with New Mexico history, that bridge right there, the house that's on the bridge is called the House at a Toby Bridge. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't. So I'm gonna blow it up here so we can see what you're talking about. So you're talking. So there's Santa Fe, the yellow dot right there. Let me see how much bigger I can make this.
Hold on, let me switch back to YouTube. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So here's Santa Fe, the yellow spot right there. There's Espanola. This is the Rio Grande. So the Rio Grande comes down through here from Colorado, right through here, and then continues past Santa Fe along Cochiti. Now, the problem with these fishing waters here is these are all tribal waters for the most part, so you can fish on them with permission. And then it ends right there at Bernalillo, where I live, where the Rio Grande crosses.
You see that Highway 502 right there?
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's described in the section that you just read.
So that bridge on 502, as it crosses you can
Rio
tell,
Grande.
Yeah, anything north of that, but everything south. So really, warm waters would halt on the Rio Grande
at that point.
At that exact point, right? And it's the only one that's actually within a canyon there. Yeah. And there's a lot of hints, I think, to that canyon because the specific canyon is White Rock Canyon,
right?
And so if you think about like a lot of the hints, or what I think are hints in the book, where it talks about the deep crevices in his hands that were white, when he talks about deep canyons that were carved into his hands, that kind of talk, and that house at a Toby Bridge right there.
By the way, that's pronounced Ottawa.
Or Ottawa, yeah, okay. That's what happens when I'm only reading it. And
I live here, so I have the benefit of knowing where. So
that house was actually it was Edith Warner's old tea house. Oh. She had she had a tea house there, a restaurant with a tea house, and she's basically people that were crossing over would stop there for tea and pie and stuff like that, and.
So I'm zooming in. I'm zooming in on that area right now. So part of the issue is that this lighter gray area here, that's actually tribal property. That's San Ildefonso.
Right.
So down here is, so south of it, I can't tell what kind of property it is. I'd have to look at it on my other maps. Let me do this.
That's, yeah.
So that's the Ottawa Bridge. There's the house at Ottawa Bridge. There's your 502.
Right. So now that's where I think I differ with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is that I believe that every clue up to the 9th clue is something that could be found on the map. And I've sent.
Wait. I want you to clarify that. It's one thing to say that the clue can be found on a map. It's another thing to say that it can be found on Google Earth. Which of those do you mean?
Well, really, so do you want me to walk through the solve? I'm willing to walk through it if you want me to kind of explain what I'm talking about.
I'm always open to listening to solve, but I mean, go back and answer that question. When you say every clue can be found on a map, when you use the word map, are you talking about a physical paper map, or are you talking about Google Earth?
I think in this case, it would honestly be both, because the features that are on Google Earth are the same as like the old maps that I found.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is on older maps. So I think that the clues can be found on a map or Google Earth. I found them on Google Earth,
All
and
right.
then I compared it
Let's
to
try
older
this.
maps.
So we're on 10 minutes right now. Let's see if you can walk us through this in about 5 minutes.
All right, I'll make it real quick. So
Okay.
this is warm waters halt,
Where
And
this
then-
bridge crosses the Rio Grande.
where that bridge is, and you're not even you're not getting out of your car or anything.
Okay.
You go down, take it in the canyon down.
So
And then
I'm following the Rio Grande down the canyon. Is that correct?
That's correct. And you're
Okay.
going to see a little blip on there that says launch. And
There is, let's see. How
now
far
there's a
down?
delay between YouTube and
Yeah.
our phone call. Sorry about
So
that.
how far do I have to go down? So the Rio heads south and west from there, and then it goes a
Yeah.
little bit west, and then there's an elbow bend
Yeah.
that turns
Keep
itself.
going down, you'll see a road, and it's actually a boat launch point.
Okay.
If you keep going down, because right now what you're looking at is tribal land, which
Yeah,
I believe is
yes.
the home of Brown, right?
Right. I'm not saying
if you
right
keep-
to agree with you. I'm just saying.
No, yeah, but keep going quite a bit down. If you want to switch to satellite, the standard map view, you'll actually see where the tribal boundary is.
Okay. So that's a different pueblo there.
Yeah, that's the pueblo of San Ildefonso,
San Ildefonso. That's right.
right?
Okay.
Which,
so,
if you think, which is actually pretty interesting because it's San Ildefonso de Toledo, which kind of makes you think about that.
don't say that too. That Toledo is the place in Spain where the Franciscan priests came
Right.
from. Well, I won't bore you to death with that.
Yeah, but it's pretty interesting that Forrest Fenn uses the miles west of Toledo reference. But
Oh, that's interesting. So I've got Soda Springs. I've got Pajarito Canyon. How far south do
Okay.
you want me to go?
okay, so you see right there where it's green, and there's a little blip on the map right there, and you see a road that goes almost straight up to the river. Look up north there.
North.
You
of-
passed it. You're going a little bit too far south.
So this is hard because we've got that 30-second delay.
Here, you know what? Let me switch real quick. I don't want to waste up too much of your time looking for this here.
So
the
there
road
is
itself
there is a Pajarito Springs road that goes right to the river at Pajarito Canyon. Pajarito is the Spanish word for small bird.
yeah. So for me, the put in is Buckman Road. The Buckman Road put in.
Oh, wow, that is so weird. When I was a little boy, we used to go rabbit hunting on Buckman Road. But
Well,
that's west
yeah.
of Santa Fe, isn't it?
It's actually 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe. As the
Oh
crow
yeah,
flies,
yeah.
or
That's
as
because
from-
that's south of Bandelier. You're not quite
Yeah.
at Cochiti. Let me see if I can find.
not south of Bandelier. It's actually within it. So the put in right there is on Buckman Road, and then from there, it's no place for the meek, right?
Which how do you define that?
So, there's the Cañada de Buey. Okay,
Oh, that's
which
up
is
here.
the-
That's up here. Hold on.
yeah, that's up there. The end point is White Rock.
Okay,
But-
there's White Rock. That little
Okay.
white area there, that's
Yeah.
White Rock. That's the
So
town of White Rock.
the Cañada de Buey, in my opinion, is the no place for the meek and you can look at that multiple ways, but Buey is ox in Spanish.
Right.
So, strong as an ox.
Yeah.
Take my yoke, for I am meek. There's many different references that you can compare meek to the ox. No place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. Well, if you look right, the canyon right next door to that is Mortandad, which is mortality.
Right.
Right. So that would be basically the end is drawing nigh. There's an old Forrest Fenn interview, one of the very first ones he does, and he stops and he says, it'll open your eyes and it'll make you think about mortality. And then he kind of looks at the camera like, oh man, I might have given something away there. And he never says that again. He never says that mortality again. Anyways, I digress. So the end is ever drawing nigh, Mortandad Canyon. There will be no paddle up your creek. Now there's a creek that goes from the river up towards the White Rock Overlook. And if you look a little bit closer, and if you look on some of the older maps, what you'll find is that's a sewage disposal. The White Rock treatment plant right there is actually, they basically recycle the water and dump it right back into the Rio Grande. So,
Right.
So think about.
So there's the Cañada de Buey,
Yeah.
and there's the White Rock Overlook right there with the road.
Right. So there's
now
and
I know
creek.
that area. You're looking down a pretty. It doesn't look like it's steep, but you're looking down a pretty steep little incline there on the
Right.
on the west side of the river.
Right. Right. So there'll be no paddle up your creek. That's basically old. Well, I imagine Forrest Fenn knowing the phrase, you're up Coops Creek without a paddle,
yeah.
right? So there'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water's high. Well, there's three waterfalls right there within that creek, right?
Right.
Okay, so just heavy loads and water's high. If you've been wise and found the blaze, well, everything he said about a blaze was, or the only things really he has said is like, it could be a marking on a white marking on a horse. It could be a trail marker. It could be a white rock, right?
Yeah.
Marking a trail. Well, right there is that White Rock, the White Rock Overlook, which is pretty much, it would, in my case, or in my opinion, would be the blaze. So if you've been wise, because I've always thought, why is he saying if you've been wise and found the blaze?
So let me ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Because I got to resolve this because it's outstanding, and that is, how close is your look quickly down to the Rio Grande River?
I would say, I believe it's at least, and again, I have only access to Google Earth for that part, so I think it's like 1,500 feet, maybe 2,000 feet.
So you're not putting the treasure in the Rio Grande River, or the
No.
Rio Grande Rift?
No, not at all. And my thought, okay, so from the blaze, the White Rock Overlook, I think, is the blaze. And you think about the Terry Scant with Marble Gaze. Well, that overlook is literally, it's beautiful. I've been there. It overlooks the entire canyon right there.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, if you check out some pictures from White Rock Overlook, and you look north, there's a hill out there, and it's how did you pronounce it? Toby or
Ottawi.
Okay, so Ottawi Hill or Ottawi Mountain or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Is directly across from that overlook, but the locals call it Gator Hill. So remember, don't make the alligator mad until you've crossed the river. Yeah.
So
and
I'm looking at an image right now from the White Rock Overlook.
Okay, so you'll see a Toby Peak right there.
Yeah.
Or Ottawi Peak.
Ottawi Peak. That's Ottawi Peak.
It's in the shape of an alligator. Right?
Oh, you're right. It does look like an alligator. That's interesting.
Okay, now look south from that peak.
Yeah.
And I swear you have an exact drawing from that page 99. Even down to that Soda Springs that's across the way, it looks like that, what everybody says is an arrow pointing to where the treasure is located. Yeah. It's actually pretty darn close to what that looks like.
So for those of you that are looking at the map, what William is referring to is this shape right here. That's Ottawi Mountain, and you can see it looks like an alligator head and then stretched out this way. Interesting.
So, so now if you're looking right there, and you might have to do the overhead view, but from White Rock Overlook, directly east of that, straight down, the first thing I saw when I got out there was this huge cross that somebody put out there, and they made it out of stone. So they basically stacked a bunch of rocks. They do it a lot out here in the mountain areas where they make something out of stone. But what's interesting about that cross right there is that it's like 496 feet from the overlook. So
hang on just a second.
Okay.
I switched my look around. Okay, so I'm looking at it. So I'm at White Rock Overlook, and I'm looking down to
towards the river.
Mortanda Canyon, right? Let me go back and see if we can see that Alligator Mountain at Ottawa.
Yeah, so from White Rock Overlook, you'll even see it in those pictures that you're looking at.
So that's Ottawa right there. Yeah, that's funny. It only looks like an alligator from the side. So,
Right.
okay,
From
bottom
the
line. Let's
blade.
get to the bottom line because we're at 20 minutes now. Bottom
Yeah,
line.
sorry, man.
When are
Bottom
you?
line,
So you've got a Las Cruces number. Do you live in Las Cruces?
I live in Las Cruces, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been out there. There's a cross that like I said, the cross you can see from Google Earth.
Yeah.
That cross is exactly 500 feet from the overlook. I've gone down there and I feel like I've turned over every stone. My thought is that it's buried directly inside of that cross somewhere. There's a scrapbook that he did where he talks about, the reliquary,
Yeah.
and the cross and what hidden treasures lie within this cross. That's one of the things he says in that scrapbook. So I think a lot about stuff like that. I think about when he says, make sure all the lines cross in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically an old Texas boy hiding his treasure in an X marks the spot. It comes down to Now, if you go from the boundaries from the northernmost boundary of Santa Fe, you draw a line directly north, 8.25 miles, and go directly west. From there, it lines exactly up with White Rock Overlook.
With White Rock. Hang on. Well, so I'm gonna draw that back so we can actually see. So there's our White Rock Overlook. And there is Santa Fe right there. So I need to bring it back again. I lost it. So there's Santa Fe right there. So that's the distance you're talking about. So there's White Rock and the White Rock Overlook. So hang on. Let me just do so that's let's just arbitrarily pick
so I've been out there. I've searched quite a bit at that cross, but it's kind of like how deep is a hole?
Yeah.
If he buried it, how deep do you have to go?
So according to the map, it's from the north part of Santa Fe to that White Rock Overlook is 17 plus miles.
Is what?
17 plus, 17.61 miles.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. As the crow flies, but what I'm saying is if you draw a line directly north from the boundary of Santa Fe and then draw a line directly west. In other words, you're 8.25 miles. If you're thinking in a straight line, it's exactly 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe. Now, however far west it is, that's kind of like, outside of the question, I guess, in that regard. But
so there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it's also like 33 minutes away from Forrest Fenn's house, so he could easily hit it.
Gotten there and gotten back. Yeah, easily.
Right.
Okay,
and,
so I have a question for you from
the
room. Lisa Smith asks, wouldn't the cross be a man-made structure?
Well, yeah, but there's nothing that really says, in my opinion, I mean, there's nothing that says that he couldn't have put it underneath the stones, right? What was that older version of the poem that somebody had talked about? If you've been wise and found the stones, take the chest
and leave my bones. Yeah.
Yeah. And now obviously that's not official, but I think it's important to know that I don't think that's a structure in the same way. He was just trying to get people from digging up outhouses and literally doing crazy stuff like that. Yeah. I think my thought about the reason I think it's the cross is because there's so much emphasis on an asterisk, and he puts the asterisk in his book. And in terms of writing, when you're writing, if you've already used an asterisk the second symbol you use, you can either use a double asterisk or you can use a cross symbol. It's called a dagger, right? The obelisk.
Yeah.
And he's got, that weird picture he took where he photoshopped himself next to an obelisk. There's a lot of weird, references to stuff like that. His church is in the mountains kind of thing.
So let me get back to, let's go.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we've probably beat this theory to death right now in the sense that you've shared as much as you can. The question is, when do you expect to come and get the treasure?
Say that one more time.
When do you expect to come and get the treasure?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you've got this resolved. You've got this resolved to the last clue. If I had so I've got two of my theories, I believe, with qualification, get me to the first two clues, and then I don't have anything else. You've got a theory that gets you to the ninth clue.
Potentially.
So when are you coming to get the treasure is a question.
Yeah, last time I went was earlier in August.
Yeah.
And I went out there digging around as much as I could. So it's getting a little bit cold to kind of be out there in that area.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to go next spring.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is like I said, you can only dig so far,
Right.
I dug up a good chunk of that cross and I went out there with a metal detector, but who knows how deep he buried it. If he buried it like he did his bells, I mean, they could have to be out there digging a 3-foot deep hole,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the tricky part. I could be completely wrong that it's not at the cross, but it definitely could be off the side of that hill.
Well,
and,
So yeah, I think I think the time is, what you have to say to yourself is, when can I go get this treasure? Right, got to answer that question. Because it sounds to me.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
It sounds to me like you have a complete theory. Now it's just a matter of implementing the theory.
Of getting out there, yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to share it and just see if that helps anybody. And if somebody finds it, just think, at least shout my name out. Like, hey, William Zimmerman. William Zimmerman helped me a little bit on this one. Yeah. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, when you get a chance, check out the searching for Randy. Searching for Randy on Dow's website.
Mm-hmm.
The notes from Forrest section. When Randy went missing, he parked his vehicle on Buckman Road. Right. Yeah. And if you remember back then, Forrest was kind of acting like, hey, this guy might have just found the treasure and ran off to Mexico. You know? Well, the first place that Forrest went was to the White Rock Overlook, and he took a picture of Buckman Road and he called it the put-in off of Buckman Road. But my thought is he went to White Rock Overlook because he kind of had an idea he could see, maybe if somebody dug a big hole out there, and he could say without for sure, yes, the treasure's been found.
Interesting.
But he does refer to my put-in as a put-in in that posting, and so I don't know. He was also acting really strange.
What I think I'll do is when I get a chance to get up there, I'll go up there and do some drone work and see if we can get some better imagery.
Yeah. There's and a lot of people do drone photography out there, which is pretty nice on YouTube, and people also rock climb out there and rappel and stuff.
Right.
So. Cool.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for calling in and sharing your theory with us.
Hopefully that helps somebody out there.
Maybe somebody else can pick up on it and move with it.
All right. Take care.
You have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye. What I should do right now while we are... one of our Vault members asked me if I was going to upload the... last night's video, the conversation last night's video. I think I can do that while I'm sitting here, while we're just talking, because I had bandwidth. Okay, so phone lines are open if anybody wants to call in and talk about their solution. We're always open to listening to your solutions, and we do so without bias. 10/18, let's see, that's 10/18/10. What was yesterday? Today, 2 days, the 25th. 1024. There we go. All right. So that'll be uploaded. What? 3D bronze? Thank you. Or you're just trying to make a point. If F said metal detector can help, not bury 3 feet. I don't think Fenn said that a metal detector can help. I think what he said was it's kind of a waste of time because if you can see it the 3 feet from the metal detector. Oh, by the way, so remember I was talking about the idea of using an endoscope and attaching it to your walking stick or something like that so you could peek down into things. So William Hada sent me a link. Hang on. Hold on. Now I'm going to have to go to the comments. Let's see. Comments. He sent me a link to one that is sold on YouTube. Here, I'll share this with you guys in case anybody else wants to do it. Screenshot. Is there anything on there that I want? Yeah. Okay. So he sent me, let's find him first. So I asked him for a link. He was talking about that endoscope, right? Borescope from Harbor Freight. He said there's probably one on eBay. So he sent me this link right there. And that's on, that's a borescope, and it connects to your phone via the Wi-Fi. So you don't need to plug it in, and it comes in various lengths. I ordered the 1 meter, which I think is going to be long enough. 1 meter is about 3 feet. Should I have ordered the 3 meter? Anyway, I ordered one, and when I get it, I'll build out a walking stick solution with a phone and share what I find out about with it, you guys. But if you want to order one yourself, they're very. I mean, the price. He's right. It's not anywhere near the price that it's $18.95 here, and you don't have to worry about whether it's an Android or your or iOS because it's uses Wi-Fi to communicate, and you just use your phone. Where was that picture? You just use your phone as your screen. How cool is that? So anyway, I ordered one. I'll let you know how things work out. Just another toy to play with. Toby playing with toys. The toys. Okay, phone lines are open while you guys are deciding whether you want to call or not. I'm going to play another piece of music here. What have we got? So did we ever get to that night? Okay, so That Night in Your Car by Spaz Cardigans. It almost sounds like a made-up name, doesn't it? Let's see what we got here. Oh, gosh. There we go. Pretty contemporary music. A bit of a millennial vibe there. Hey, Prince Edward, you're using up your call quota.
Yeah,
here. What's
I was listening to his solve, and I guess where does Meek fall into? The Blazes the next thing after that?
Oh gosh, I was going with him on the map. I was just following his guidance. So you'll have to go back and look at the video.
No, I'm talking about poem-wise.
About what?
The poem.
Oh,
the Meek,
okay.
So is the Meek supposed to be like the 8th clue?
No. Begin at where warm waters halt. Take it in the canyon down. These are mine. So begin at where warm waters halt.
Yeah.
Take it in the canyon down. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek.
So that's only 5 or 6.
Loads. Well, I was counting them. Hang on. Okay. So 1. Begin at where warm waters halt. 2, take it in the canyon down. 3, not far but too far to walk. 4, put in below the home of Brown. 5, from there it's no place for the meek. 6, there'll be no paddle up your creek. 7, just heavy loads and water high. 8, if you've been wise and found the blaze. 9, look quickly down your quest to cease.
Yeah, so if you're going from the Meek, the alligator, then you're going to have to find a creek right nearby there then
Yeah.
for a solve.
Well, what you ought to do is get in touch with William in the chat room and see if you guys can have that conversation.
No. But I'm just saying the next part would be a creek nearby out of all that thing. If
From
that's
there, it's
the
no
thing.
place for the meat.
The only other thing is it's. I don't know if he means near is about a half a mile because the Rio Grande's right there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he's sending unless you have to head off in a western direction from there.
Yeah.
To stay away from the Rio Grande.
Right. That's what we suggest.
That would be if anyone's going to try that solve, I would not head towards the Rio Grande. I'd be heading west.
So, okay, that's fair. But if you're going to do that and comment on somebody else's, you've got to start sharing your theory.
Yeah, well, I already measured it out. There's a great big spot there that's
so are you looking
500 meters.
Are you looking in that area as well? I thought you were up north someplace.
No, I have several solves that I'm working on.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, he's listening now, and
No, I'm just saying I'm trying to make people safe too, right?
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing.
There's a trail that does go off to the east there, but I think that's a little on the heavy side. I don't have boots on the ground there, so I can't tell, right?
Right.
And I wouldn't be heading towards the Rio Grande. That has already been off the limits not to go near the Rio Grande.
Right. Exactly. So
not
he's got
near.
it. He's got
say
it.
that it isn't.
He said it wasn't in the
He
Rio
said
Grande.
Not near.
Right. He said it wasn't in the Rio Grande.
Yeah. So if you're not going to go near, then that means you have to head west.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, we'll let him work it out.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, there's some aerial views like your drone shots just right out on the rock, straight out in front towards the alligator, right there at that point.
All right. I'll pick them up and take a look at them. Well, I'm not because I'm not interested.
Great.
I'm actually not interested in that area, but I'll share. I'll share them with him.
You share it with him and say, like I think everyone that does get interested, they got to stay out of the Rio Grande.
Got it. Because we've already lost 2 searchers there. We don't want to lose another one.
Yeah.
All right, sir. You have a good evening. Okay, I am going to get through this damn song tonight in your car. MA, I never got that far with the gentleman, the 500 feet. But I think, if you're developing a theory, one of the important things about your theory is you got to find a place where people were within 500 feet of the treasure and they're not searchers, right? So that to me implies some sort of public thoroughfare. Our 500 feet thing in Rio de los Pinos is the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad, which is about 500 feet above the river. So. Mitch. No, just Mitch, do me a favor, find the picture, download it, and email it to me so I don't have to go looking for it. Mitch. Because I'm sure you have a point. So send me the picture in an email and tell me the point that you want to make, because it doesn't help me to say the Willie and the Snowpick from the last 6 questions. Look on top of the bush. The tail of the dog is pointing to it. So there's something on top of the bush. But send me the picture. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, Brian, that's the hard part with this time of the year is the weather starts going bad on you, especially if you're north of northern New Mexico. Well, we got some snow according to Samantha's dad. Brian, he's a Brian, right? They got some snow in northern New Mexico. It was a dusting, from what I hear. DB Cooper, yeah, I am. I've always been a late to bed kind of person. I rarely get to bed before 2 o'clock in the morning. That was pretty cool. I liked that. So this is Missing My Girl by the... did we play something earlier by the 126ers? Yeah, Missing My Girl by the 126ers. Oops, how come it's not playing? Jack, I was born in New Mexico. I was born in Santa Fe. I can trace my roots back to the arrival of the conquistadores in 1693. But I left. I was born in 1949, and I left New Mexico in 1969. I was a senior at the University of New Mexico, and I didn't want to go back to Santa Fe, so I joined the military. And then I spent 5 years with the United States Army Security Agency and 5 years outside of Washington, Maryland, Fort George G. Meade, Maryland, with the National Security Agency. And then I raised my family in Chantilly, Virginia, which is a suburb of Washington, D.C. I used to come back to visit New Mexico, but I never lived here. And then I moved back here in 2010, moved to Albuquerque, because I was you've probably heard this story. I'm going to bore you to death with this story. So I was retiring. I had just gotten back from Afghanistan the last time, and I was going to retire to Costa Rica. And when I told my mother that, she was 91 at the time, she had a heart attack, a literal heart attack. So I decided to stay kind of to get her through that life. And I figured when I took her, I rushed her to the hospital. The doctor said she probably has, 2 or 3 more weeks. And so I figured, well, let me just get a hotel. I stayed in a hotel. She lived another 3 years. And I started in a hotel, then moved to an apartment, the apartment that you used to see me in. And by the time she passed, I had roots here. I was teaching at UNM. I was helping with it, running the public access station. I was doing film projects with Shelley and other members of our team. And so I don't want to say I got stuck here. I decided to stay here and then move the house. But yeah, I was born and raised in Santa Fe. But I think of myself as a Virginian, more than I do a New Mexican. Yeah, if you ever get to Santa Fe, you'll see the signs towards St. Michael's High School, and it's now on the south side of town, but it used to be downtown. There's a building, if you know where the oldest church is. It's right near there. I used to sing in the boys' choir at the oldest church when I was at St. Michael's. My father had passed away. He died in a plane crash when I was 11, and I was the oldest of 4 children. And my mother was left in a good position. All 3, he and his 2 brothers were killed all at the same time. But they had left behind, a comfortable sum of money for each of the families. But apparently I was being rebellious because they tried to send me to seminary. And I was there for, 6 months, 5 months before I broke out. But then they sent me to St. Michael's High School at the time. It was all boys Catholic Christian Brothers boarding school. And they had day students from Santa Fe, but they sent me as a boarder so that I wouldn't be so troublesome. and so I went to school at St. Michael's High School. So as a boarding student, you'll hear Shelley mention it every once in a while. She teases me that I was a boarding student in my own town. Right. So then I got a scholarship to UNM, did that for 3.5 years, and then joined the military and got a scholarship to the rest of my life, or whatever they want to call it. So yeah, I came back to my roots, I guess you can say that. Simple Step by Slender Beats. So phone lines are still open if somebody wants to make a call. We've probably got enough time for one short call, and I'm going to ask that if you're going to call, you haven't already called tonight. So let's have a new caller rather than somebody who's been on a couple of times. Geez, Sassy, a lot of paranoia in the room tonight, huh? Yeah, Lisa, I didn't mean to be, but you know, you lose your father at 11 and you're kind of mad at the whole world, especially if they didn't let us, it was in December, so they didn't let us go to the funeral. The funeral was in Taos, and the plane crashed in Raton, around Raton, New Mexico, in the mountains there. They were coming back from Denver. They didn't let us go to the funeral, so there was no closure, so I just got angry. And the first thing they tried to do was send me to seminary, and that is not where I wanted to be. That probably started me on the road to where I am right now. Jack, Toby, don't jip us. What do you mean? Was the Catholic school nice to you? I still say, world famous gamer, you're going to want to hear something else, I'm sure. But I still say that the best education I got was from those Christian brothers. I learned a lot in college, but the basis for all my learning was at St. Michael's High School, and I still respect them for that. But I'll tell you, it was their teachings in religion and philosophy that led me to where I am right now. They started it. Tony, that would be great. I'd love to see, because as I understand it, the sand that comes from places like that, the Sand Dunes National Monument, White Sands, it's too fine, but, there's nothing that keeps me from putting it under a microscope. So, yeah, I'm serious about this sand thing, guys. It's a little tiny plastic bag, couple of ounces worth of sand. You can put it in a regular envelope and send it to me at the address in the description box below. I would really appreciate that. And then send me a digital image. Just take it with your phone and send it to a Gypsy Kiss so that I can figure out that will tell me the location in terms of GPS coordinates. Oh my goodness, I just got an email message from Matt Brewer. He's in Arizona. Bed and breakfast, back again to the 126ers. Is kind of a cool. Let's see what this sounds like. Oh, we got a call. So let's freehold. Let's see. Hey, you've reached Toby 10. What's your name and what do you want to talk about?
So that I can figure out
Toby.
Hey.
Hold on. Let me. You got a delay there. So.
Yeah, you can't listen to it on your computer. It'll drive you nuts.
All right. Let me turn you up. You there?
I am.
Okay, great. It's Bruce from St. Augustine, Florida.
Hey, Bruce, how are you doing?
Doing good.
You've got
you've
got a New Jersey phone number though, so you must be a snowbird.
No, I live permanently now in St. Augustine.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was Jersey for a long time.
Wait, I got to address a quick comment in the room. Okay, hold on. Cheryl, no, they didn't do that. Those were choices that I made. They were simply good at causing me to ask questions. That's what they taught me, how to ask questions. All right, I'm sorry. Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got a lot of sand here. What do you want the sand for?
So I'm thinking about. I showed earlier a YouTube video that was made by The Verge Science. They have like 850,000 subscribers, and the short video was about. They do a lot of work in different areas of science. They're kind of one of the YouTube channels that my personal channel is subscribed to, and they talked about sand. And the point that they were making is apparently we're running out of the human race is running out of sand used for construction, right? And you can't use the finer sands that come from sand dunes, or in our case, we have a location down here in New Mexico called White Sands National Monument, which is sand that was made from, not graphite. I'll never remember it. Anyway, it's a white sand dunes.
Yeah, it's coarse.
No, it's not. That's the problem. Anything that's on a sand dune, like in the Mideast, you cannot use it for concrete. And the story that they were making is that the Mideast, all the construction that they're doing in the Mideast along the Red Sea, in Dubai and the Emirates, et cetera, they're having to import sand from Africa, from different countries in Africa, in order to do the construction. So that was the basis of the story, but in the process, they produced this microscopic imagery of sand, and I thought it was really fascinating. And so what I thought
can you turn your volume up a little?
Sure. How's that? What I don't want to do is blow the audience out. Is that better?
That's better.
Okay.
Much better.
So anyway, I was fascinated not only with the story that we're running out of sand, but I was fascinated by the imagery of sand that they were making through the microscopes, because it was really kind of beautiful. It looks like, I was trying to explain earlier, there's a lot of crystalline, transparent sand in various colors, and it's like miniature emeralds, miniature garnets, miniature rubies, et cetera. Plus, if you pick up sand from the seashore, it actually has some miniature diatoms in it, small little sand-sized conch shells, for lack of a better way to describe it. Anyway, so I was fascinated, and I wondered if I started advertising the idea that I'd like to have sand from all over the world, and then have a live stream where you shared this sand with folks so that they could see the difference and whether that would be at all interesting or not. So that's kind of my plan. I haven't implemented it because I'm busy on a couple of other channels right now. It's not like I need another YouTube channel to build.
I used to work on the tugboats in New York City, and we dredged Ambrose Channel there. And the sand we used from Sandy Hook, we actually brought in, and it was used for construction. Sand. It was, It was rinsed, real good and from the salt. But
right, and so that's the other thing. In the United States, there are areas in the United States. So sand gets inefficient to use once it's further away than 38 miles from the building project. Right. That it starts getting so expensive that it reduces the value of the building project. So what they're doing now is they're building, what do they call them? I just used the word quarries in areas where they can break up the rock, ship the rock, and then they put it into places where it is converted by physical means into sand. And you can actually tell the difference. I mentioned to the folks, I'm actually going to a quarry on Monday because the guy told me he can give me a small bag of man-made sand. And he's a geologist. He works for the company. And he told me you'll look at it under a microscope and you can tell that it's very different from natural sand. But that's where they're at.
When Fenn asked, where he said that when you, I can't quote him here, but he said something about, it wasn't the quarry you were looking for.
It was the chase.
Do you think a quarry is a part of the area, area. Anyway,
you know what? You did such an interesting segue there. I didn't know where you were going with that. I hadn't even thought about it because the impression I got from that quote, that's not an original quote. Right,
okay.
he borrowed that from somebody else. And the quarry is what you are hunting, right? In the case of that quote, it was whatever you're hunting as opposed to a place where you collect rocks, or mix up rocks. So I don't know. He could have used it in a way that meant that, but to me, the original quote, was referring to a hunter's, a quarry. It wasn't the quarry, what you're after, that was exciting. It was the chase, right?
Yeah, it seems like everything he does is a dual meaning. It's always everything he mentions. And the guy Michael Zimmerman, right, or Zimmer?
Zimmer.
He his solve that it seems like that area. It seems so perfect, and it even had like a soda spring down there. I saw, but there were some difficulties with it. But I noticed like, when he mentioned the alligator, like when he said Amos and Andy, and that you had to, it said you don't want to make the alligator mad until
after you've crossed the river. Right. Yeah.
So would you cross before the alligator or after the alligator?
Well, you're asking me a question that I don't know. That I'd have to guess at this point, right?
I'm still alligator in my.
Well,
in my solve,
there is an alligator.
Yeah, not a real alligator. I live in Florida, but I'm looking in Yellowstone. I was up there 3 times this summer.
This last season. Yeah, I have never incorporated. So I can honestly say that I have never thought about incorporating an alligator, whether by metaphor or any other way, into any theory that I've ever had. I've never picked up on that. I did see it in the book. We just went through it in that chapter, actually, where it's mentioned.
So he said he talks a lot about the king. His one alligator was Elvis. He talked about the king of Hollywood was who was that? That was Clark Gable.
Yeah.
And then he has. What's the other king he talks about? There's a third one. There's actually 2 of them. There's 2 more that I have. Elvis. You can't help me out here.
Okay. Again, I've never incorporated any of these things into any theory. So.
Oh, the song. He used the song "The King of the Road."
Oh, I see.
He mentioned that in one of his little scrapbooks. And the guy who
sung
that was
Roger
Miller.
Roger Miller. Trailers for sale.
Was a friend of Fenn's.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know Roger Miller was a friend of Fenn's. That's interesting.
Yeah, he actually went out and searched one of the is out in San Lazaro or whatever it is. Yeah, he went out there with another singer, and they ended up searching out there.
Yeah.
And the guy died pretty young.
Yeah.
So we have King of the Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the King of Rock and Roll.
Mm-hmm.
And then the King of Hollywood. So you got the King of Wood, the King of Rock, and you have the King of the Road. There's also one more, but I'm not going to.
Well, you don't want to. So just give me a rough idea of how that gets you to your Yellowstone theory.
Well, it's on the road.
Yeah.
It's close to. It's. Oh, of course, rocks are involved.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And the alligator is important.
Yeah.
Because Elvis was the alligator. See, and there is an alligator. That story about the 2 alligators. It's kind of a little strange story. All of his stories are pretty strange, but there's a significance there with the alligator. And then he mentions it, with the Amos and Andy quote.
Mm-hmm.
which was what? Was that in the same story?
That's actually in the book. That's in the book. I don't know if he mentioned them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's tied. I don't think they're tied together. I think he was making the point, the reference to it was something to do with his father. We just covered that in our member vault thing.
And there's one more which I don't want to share here, but
that's all right.
It kind of is a clincher but there is a king thing there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Maryland. I went past where you worked.
Right there on 95. You're just off of 95 in Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lived down in on Cobb Island in Charles County on the Potomac River.
Oh yeah, very nice. Yeah.
It was a pretty area.
Yeah, it was.
And then
I used to do a lot of sailing in the Chesapeake around the St. Mary's area and the Sassafras River area. Yeah. So
that's Solomon Island.
Exactly. That's right. Very pretty area. A lot of good sailing down there.
That's beautiful. So.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for calling in. I'm going to close up the show for tonight, but I'm glad our last caller had kind of an interesting conversation with. So.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of you. I'd like to come out and visit you guys.
Whenever you do, let us know. Give us a little warning in advance, and we'll meet up with you.
All right. Thanks, Toby. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks. So Matt, I just saw you're right. It's gypsum. That's what white sands is made from. And but again, it's such a fine sand. Not that it's also a national monument, so you could never take that. As a matter of fact, you cannot. You literally, technically, I'm sure a lot of people. I know my mother used to. You can't take sand from White Sands National Monument unless it's in your shoe or something like that. You can't fill a bottle because it is a national monument, and a ranger can. Not that they're going to fine you; they're going to make you empty the bottle. I don't know if I ever told you the story. One time, I was on Zia Pueblo, and right along that road that leads up to the Jemez on Zia, there's this beautiful, I don't know how else to describe it, it's red earth. And my daughter, of course, as you guys know, is a Spanish colonial artist, and she uses natural pigments. And I thought she would love this, deep, beautiful red earth. And so I emptied out a water bottle, and I started filling the water bottle with this red earth. And the sheriff, this tribal officer, came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm getting some dirt for my daughter." And he says, "That's not your dirt. That's our dirt. Empty that out." I'm going like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right." So yeah, they take their tribal property pretty damn seriously. Another time I was flying a drone over the Rio Grande, and I didn't realize I was on that Isleta Pueblo. I had no idea. And I was happily flying the drone. It was fall, and I was getting some beautiful pictures. You can see the imagery on the front of that documentary that's called "My Father's Hands, My Mother's Heart," about my my son Jason. And I was using that, and one drove up behind me. I know it was, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm taking some drone footage of the fall in Rio Grande." He said, "You're on tribal land," and I lied, I guess. And I said, "No." And he said, "Get that drone down before I shoot it down. We're tired of you people stealing our artifacts." He thought I was doing drone searching, drone intelligence gathering, so I could come back and pull some of their artifacts out of the ground. So he made me erase the footage on the drone, but I was able to save it on the phone. So there. Anyway, or I erased it on the phone, but I was able to save it on the SD card in the drone. Anyway, I'm sharing all my secrets with you. All right, guys, it is past midnight. We're gonna do this, I think, again on Friday nights. I'm kind of having fun with it. It brings back my old University of New Mexico UNM radio days, KUNM radio, 99.1 KUNM. And we'll do this again. You guys can call in. We can talk about. Now, I want to get to the point where we're talking about all kinds of stuff, whether it's sand or fin. I like the segue that last gentleman made, where he's got me talking about sand, et cetera, and then he goes quarry, and then didn't Fenn say? I mean, he pulled me out of the. I fell for it. Pretty dang well. Yeah, dirt is for all of us. That's right, Jack. I could have made a point that I'm 12.5% Native American, but I didn't. That would have been wrong. All right, guys. Let's pull up some. What do I want to play here? Let's play our Friday night outro. Hey, ES, I talked with the Magical Treasure Princess about that idea you had. I think we're going to go with it. So she's going to pop you an email. You and the others. What? Juno, who it is, what am I supposed to have looked up? That email that you sent me? I will do that on next week's show. BJ Chambly, I like your name because it sounds very southern, old South kind of southern. BJ. If your name is Beauregard, I'm just gonna. Are you not having a good night in the room, sir? Yeah, just go with the flow, brother. Hey. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. I had a great time. I've got about 2 more hours worth of work before I get to bed, but this is not abnormal for me. So thanks for joining me tonight. Really enjoyed it.